Okay, so this time around we'll be working on October-November paper 2012 question paper 2. Alright, so as you can see, we're starting from question number 4 because we're going to skip question 1, 2, and 3. Right, again, for IGCSE ICT 2016 syllabus, you guys won't be using the internet or any email clients and all that anymore. Right, so let's start working from question number 4. Right, so you are now going to edit a document about the sale of cars. Using a suitable software package, load the file n122text2.rtf. So n2, this one, right? So again, guys, the first thing you do once you open a rich text format file or an RTF file is to save it as a Word document. Alright, again, I've mentioned this before in my previous videos, but for you guys who have just started watching the videos, if you don't save it as Word document, you may lose some formatting and the file size will be very big if you are using rich text format. Okay, so I'm going to change it to Word document. I'm going to save it. Right, moving on to the next question. Set the page size to A4, set the page orientation to portrait. Right, so page layout, size to A4, orientation to portrait. Okay, so set the top, bottom, left and right margin to 2 centimeters. Again, page layout, margins, custom margins. Right, 2 cm, 2 cm, 2 cm, 2 cm. Right, number 8. So place in the header your name left align, your candidate number center align, your center number right align. Okay, so I'm just going to double click on this empty spot here for the header. Right, the first thing we need to do is to adjust the tabs here a little bit, okay? Because previously the page layout was in portrait, was in landscape, but now we are actually changing it to previously it was landscape, and then now we are switching it to portrait, right? So you need to adjust this so that they are at the right margin of the page, and this one at the center of the page, right? So it's around 8.5. Okay, so again, your name on the left, your candidate number center align, your center number right align. So moving on to the next question, place in the footer today's date left align and automated page number center align, right? So again, scroll down, it's the footer here. Same thing, we need to adjust the tabs a little bit. So today's date left align, so date and time, just going to select today's date. And then automated page number center align. So I'm going to press tab to go over to the center. Right, page number, I'm going to select current position because that's where I'm selecting it. And I'm going to select any style I want. Okay. So once I close the header and footer and I scroll down, you will notice that the header and footer appears at the top and bottom of every single page. Alright, so I'm going to save it first. Then moving on to the next question. So make sure that all the alignment match the page margins. We've done that. Make sure that the header and footers are displayed on each page. Beautiful. Number 9. Insert this title at the start of the document. Tawara Star Family Cars, right? Top of the document. So Tawara Star, is it star or style? Or star? Family Cars. There you go. Oops. Make the title center align and set the font size of the title to 36 points. So center align this and then 36 points. Add the text latest company news by and add your name. Latest company news by. Make this a subtitle and place it below the title. Set both the title and subtitle to the same sans serif font. So sans serif font are a type of font that do not have edges and pointy ends. Okay, so I'm going to select Arial. Right, that's the most obvious one. Set the font size of the subtitle to 18 points. So I'm going to change this to 18. 18 points, and then it's going to ask me to make the subtitle italic and underlined. So italic and underlined, and then make the subtitle right aligned. Right, good. So I'm going to right align it. Okay. So format the text after the title and subtitle to two equally spaced columns, have a 1 centimeter gap in between the columns. So after the subtitles, I'm going to select everything else after that. I'm going to go to page layout, columns. I'm going to select more columns because I have more stuff to specify. Go to 2 and change the spacing to 1 centimeter. Okay. So a 14-point serif font and a single line spacing. Oh man. Right, so a 14-point serif font. Serif, I'm going to choose Times New Roman. Times New Roman is a font type that has pointy edges, right? So that's a serif font. And it has to be 14 points. There you go. So single line spacing and fully justified. So I'm going to right click on it, go to paragraph, line spacing, I'm going to select single line, and then it needs to be fully justified. Right, so I'm going to save it first. So make sure that there is one blank line space after each paragraph and that this spacing is consistent. So I'm going to, oh dear, I'm just going to select again. Oh, my bad. So I'm going to go to paragraph. So the spacing after, I'm going to put, say, 6 points, okay? So you'll notice that after every single paragraph, there will be a small line opening here, all right? All right, number 19, identify the subheadings and make them center aligned and italic, right? So subheadings, let's see, center aligned and italic. Right, so I'm going to copy this style so that I can apply it to the other subheading. So what I'll do is I'm going to highlight the ones that I've just changed, and I'm going to select Format Painter. I'm going to double click on it, and then I'm just going to paint it over. Right, there you go. Sales report. Right, there you go. Okay, moving on. So insert the text file n122 new mods.rtf before the subheading sales report. So I'm going to open that, new modes. I'm going to copy this, and then I need to paste it before sales report, right? Before, so it should be here. Paste it in. Now you'll notice that when I paste it in, the formatting and all that is a bit different from what we have here. Okay, so what we have to do is we need to use the Format Painter to copy the formatting that we have and apply it to the newly inserted text. Okay, now there's another way to do this. So before you paste, when you right click, you can actually select whether you want to keep source formatting or do you want to merge the formatting. Right, so I'm going to select merge formatting. So moving on, insert the text file n122 new modes.rtf before the subheading sales report, right? So I'm going to open that file, n122 new mods, right? So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it before sales report. Okay, now guys, when you paste, there are actually a few options here. So when I right click, you will see that there's a keep source formatting, which actually keeps the formatting that I copied from, or I can say merge formatting, which means that it actually follows the formatting of this particular document. So in order for me not to do that much not to do troublesome stuff, right, I'm going to select merge formatting. All right, I still do need to change a little bit, but the only thing that I need to change is the subheading here. So I'm going to use the Format Painter and I'm going to paint it over. Okay, so moving on. So format the text to match the style of the main document. All right, so that's what we've done. All right, we've done that. Right, question number 22. Okay, open the file n122sales.csv and use the sales figures for each of the models to create a pie chart. Okay, so I'm going to open that file. There you go. So I'm going to select model as well as the sold column here, right? Because that's what the question wants. So I'm going to highlight this. Hold down Control, select sold. I'm going to insert a pie chart. Right, so question says that format the chart to display segment labels with the model names in full. So I need to go to add chart element. I need to go to data labels, and I'm going to go to more data label options, right? Because I want to show the category name. So I'm going to tick it, right? So you can see that micro equal micro Z, micro SE, micro and micro B. Okay, followed by the title, number of cars sold. But the question didn't say that it needs the values though. So just to play safe, I'm going to remove the values. Okay, so done. And number of cars sold as the title. So I'm going to add chart element, chart title. I'm going to select above chart and change this to number of cars sold. Right, pull out or highlight the segment which shows the best selling model. So I'm going to click here and click on it again. Make sure that it's selected, that particular slice, and I'm going to click and drag it up. Okay. So do not display a legend. So I need to remove the legend here. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to go to Design, Chart Element, Legend. I'm going to select None. So insert the chart after the subheading Sales Report. So what it needs you to do is to copy this and then paste it into Microsoft Word. So copy after the subheading Sales Report, right? So after the subheading should be here. Okay, I'm gonna paste it. So I can actually paste, you know, using a few options here. Okay, so there's keep source formatting, there's use destination and all that. So I'm just gonna select use destination, right? So resize the chart to fit within the margin of the columns. It does fit within the margin of the columns. Okay, so I don't need to change anything. As you can see, it's within the margin of the columns. Replace the text, insert picture of new showroom with the image and wanted to img_4. So I'm going to search for it. New showroom. Okay, so it wants the image to be here. So I'm going to remove this. And replace it with the image called n122img4.jpg, right? So insert picture. All right, there you go. So align the image with the right margin of the column and the top of the second paragraph. Resize the image so that its width fills half the column and maintain the aspect ratio. So first things first, I need to resize it so that it fills half the column. Right, and I'm maintaining the aspect ratio because the ratio of your X and Y is still the same. And it needs it to be right aligned, right? But before that, I need to change the text wrapping so that the text is able to flow around the image. So I'm going to go to Format, Wrap Text. I'm going to select Square. Then I'm going to move it to the right. Okay. It may look like this. Spell check the document, save the document with a new name. So I'm going to save it first, and I'm going to spell check the document. So I'm going to go to Review. I'm going to go to Spelling and Grammar. Okay, I'm not going to change Tawara because that's obviously a cute name. Right, Soul, right, I'm going to change it. Microbeam, no, because it is a model. Micro, no. Micros, no. Micro Z, no. Features, yes, I'm going to change it. Micro equal, no. For the quarter. No, I'm gonna ignore that. I'm gonna ignore here, I'm gonna change. Alright, we are done. So I'm gonna save it. And then the last thing we need to do, save the document with a new file name, right? So save as, say 6969. Okay, we're done with the first section. Gonna move on to the second section. Okay, moving on to question 30. Okay, let's read the instructions first. You're going to prepare some reports for the company. Make sure all currency values are in euros to 2 decimal places. The date underscore sold field must be in the format of dd/mm/yyyy. Okay, so using a suitable database package, import the file n122cars.csv. So a database package would be Microsoft Access. So I'm gonna fire it up. Oops. Access, right? Right, so I'm going to create a blank database. I'm going to create it in that folder I saved on the desktop. Just give it any name you want. I'm just going to click OK and I'm going to create it. Okay, so once you're done and you open your folder, you'll see that that database has been created inside your working folder. Alright, so please make sure that you save everything inside your working folder. Right, so moving on, so it needs me to use Microsoft Access to actually import the CSV file. Now, because you're importing something, it's coming from outside, right? So you're going to external data, you're taking something from outside, right? So a CSV file is a type of text file, right? So I'm going to browse, I'm going to go to the desktop, I'm going to select cars. I'm going to click OK. Then it's going to ask you whether the data is in delimited form or in fixed width. Now, if you look at delimited, it says characters such as comma or tab separate each field, right? So that's correct. That's what we want. I'm going to click next, and then I'm going to say first row contains field names. That's because the first row actually contains the names of the fields here, right? So VIN followed by all the VINs here, model followed by all the models here, power followed by the power, engine size, yak, and so forth, so on and so forth. So I'm going to click first row contain field names. Going to check that box. Going to click next. Then I'm going to go to advanced so that I can compare the data types here with the data types here. So text. Price should be numeric or currencies. I'm going to change it to currency. Color text. Discount applied. Numeric or integer, that's fine. Location. Text. Date sold, date with time, that's fine. Salesperson. Text, and then sold boolean or logical, right? So this one should be a yes, no. So a boolean or logical is type of data that has one of two possible values, true or false, yes or no, male or female, checked or unchecked, and all that. Okay, so I'm just going to click OK once I'm done. I'm going to click next, and then it's going to ask me for a primary key. Now, if you look at the question, it didn't say that it needs any primary key, so I don't need to add any primary key. I'm going to select no primary key. I'm going to click next. I'm going to click finish. Okay, I don't need to save any import steps. I'm going to close it. And if I double click on N122 cars here, I will notice that all the data has been imported successfully. Okay, but before moving on, if you look at the price here, some of you may not see it in euros. Some of you may see it in your local currency. It could be, I don't know, USD, Malaysian ringgit, Sing dollar, and all that. So what you need to do is you need to go to design view, right click on here, go to design view, and under the price you need to make sure that the format is actually in what does it say here? Oh, euros. I need to change it too. So I'm going to change it to euro. So I'm going to save it. So when I double click on it, you'll notice that it actually changed to euro. Okay, so we're ready. We can start working on the next question. So make sure that you use these field names. The VIN is a vehicle, identification managed car will have a different VIN. Now, 31. Save a screenshot showing the field names and data types used. Place a copy of the screenshot in your evidence file, right? So if you do not have an evidence file here, you need to create an evidence file. So I'm going to open Microsoft Word. I'm going to save this as my evidence file. right? And then in the evidence file, I need to put in my name, center number, and candidate number, okay? So remember, any document that you guys print out during your exam has to have your name, center number, and candidate number on every single page. Okay, so it wants me to take a screenshot of the field name and data types. Okay, so I need to right click here. I'm going to go to design view to see field name and data types. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. For you guys using Windows, just press the print screen button. Right, go back to your Microsoft Word, your evidence document, and then click the paste button. All right, so this is proof that you have actually created the table, you have imported the table correctly using the correct field name and data types. Okay, moving on. Find the following 3 records for cars in Paris which have now been sold. Update the records for these cars by entering the following data into the discount applied, date sold, salesperson, and sold fields. Alright, so what you need to do here is you need to look for the VIN number first. Okay, it doesn't make sense to scroll through everything here, okay, because that's going to take up a lot of your time. So we need to use the search function for this. So I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to copy the VIN number here. During your exam, you have to type it in. I'm sorry, because you're only going to get a hard copy of the question paper. So I'm going to go to Control F. And I'm going to look in the current field here, okay? And I'm searching for this. So I'm going to find next. Okay, oh, it's the first one. No, it's not. Oh, my bad. I need to paste it in. Okay, I'm going to find next. And I need to modify the data here so that it matches the data here. So discount applied should be 10. And then date sold is 6th of May 2012. Date sold 6th of May 2012. Salesperson is Algier. Sold is yes. So if I can type in a yes, it will automatically convert it to a -1. Okay, so 0 is no, -1 is a yes. So we're going to do the same thing with the second one. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to search for it under the VIN field, right? Okay, again. So discount applied is 10 as well. And then date sold, it's the 8th of May. Salesperson is the same fella. Ooh, my bad. And yep, sold is yes. Right, last one. Discount applied is 10 as well. The date is 9th of May. So 9th of May, same person. And then, yes. Right, done. So let's save it. Check your data entry for error. No problem. Save the data. Moving on to the next one. Right, question 35. Right, 35, produce a report which shows only the records when the model is micro SE and the car has not been sold, blah, 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 blah. Alright guys, so again, for those of you who are just starting to work on past year papers, now, to produce a report, you need to produce something called a query first, okay? So, a query does two things, okay? It does calculation as well as filtering. Okay, a report, on the other hand, is to present the data that has been calculated and filtered by a query. Okay, so query is again used to filter and calculate data. Okay, it is not really good for displaying data in a legible format for people to understand. The report, on the other hand, is used to take the data from the query, okay, and arrange it neatly and nicely so that people are able to read it properly. Okay, so to produce a report again in Microsoft Access, you need to first produce a query from the table, and then from the query create a report. Okay, so if you look at this question, we need to produce a query that actually filters out all the other stuff except micro SE, as well as cars that have not been sold. Right, so I'm going to go back here, I'm going to save it first, I'm going to close everything, and I'm going to select the table. I'm going to create, and I'm going to select query wizard. Okay, now here it asks you, it actually asks you which fields you want displayed in the query. I need to display all the fields. I'm not going to care about which fields I need to display and which fields I do not. Alright, so I'm going to move everything over. I'm going to click next all the way, and I'm going to modify the query design. Okay, I'm going to click finish. Now look at the question here. It says shows only the records where the model is micro SE. So model, I'm going to only type micro SE. Right, so once I've done that, I'm going to click run. So you'll notice that only the records where the model is micro SE are being displayed now. Okay, all the other records are actually hidden or taken away. Right, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to design view. There's still one more that we haven't entered, and the car has not been sold. Right, so I'm going to scroll all the way back here. Sold, I'm going to put no. So when I run it again, I will have less records here. You'll notice that, right? Okay, so micro SE, and then if you scroll all the way back here, sold is 0. This means it's a no. Okay, now let's look back, go back to the question. Now if you see here, you have done your filtering. Okay, so there's no calculated field or any calculation to be seen at the first few questions, so we can safely assume that the query is done. Right, so once you produce the query, which is this query, I'm going to save it a few more times, right? And I'm going to create a report out of the filtered data here. So I'm going to select query, I'm going to go to report wizard. This is where I select what fields need to be displayed, what fields do not need to be displayed. So VIN model power, I'm going to select VIN model power. Engine size, price, color, engine size, price, color. Location and sold. Location and sold. Whoops, no, sold. Click next, and then it says whether you need to sort any records, right? Sorts the data into ascending order of location, right? Ascending order of location. I'm going to click next. Has an orientation of landscape, so I'm going to change this to landscape. Click next, and then I'm going to preview the report just to see how it looks like. Right, if you look here, you notice that all the data looks good, but if you look at the last one here, notice that the last field, the sold, can't really be seen. So you need to do some resizing here. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to right click here, go to design view. I need to resize the labels as well as the data field here. Oops. Okay, I'm going to hold down Control to select both of these, and then I can just highlight this and resize it a little bit. So save it, and then the view here, always select print preview because that's how it's going to look like when it's printed. Okay, let's scroll it over. Everything seems fine. Right, let's go back to design view and complete the rest of the question. So calculates the total number of micro SE cars for sale. This actually means that you need to calculate how many lines appear here. Okay, so in order to do that, you need to calculate the number of records. So I'm going to right click on VIN here, not the page header but the detail, because this is where all the records will be printed. So I'm going to go to total, I'm going to count records. Okay, and then it says has the label hybrid power cars for the total. So I'm just going to copy this, well, because I'm lazy. And then at the left hand side here, I'm going to put in a label. So AA is a label, AB is not. AB is a text field, text box. Okay, so always remember to use a label instead of a text box, because a text box has to have a link to either a query or a table to display data. You don't need that. Okay, so let's go to label. I'm just going to draw the label here. I'm going to paste in my data. I'm going to select this. I'm going to go to home. I'm going to right align it. I'm going to save it. Right, let's go back to print preview to have a look. So when you scroll all the way down and you go to the last page, right, you'll notice that there's the label here with the total number of cars here. So I still need to do a little bit of adjustments here and here because it's really too far apart. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to resize this a little bit more. Left align this thingy. Okay, let's check it out again. Much better. Right, so just need to adjust this and move this down a little bit. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay, moving on. Now, includes the heading list of micro SE cars in stock at the top of the report. So that's your report header. And then has your name, center number, and candidate number at the top of each page. Now, at the top of each page, meaning you need to put in the page header. So what's going to happen here, I'm going to move this down a little bit. I'm going to move all the labels down. Alright, I'm going to put in a label. And it says at the top, right? So I'm going to put my name, candidate number, and center number here. Name, candidate number, and center number. Right, so I'm going to right align it. Okay, so when you preview it, you will notice that your name, candidate number, and center number appears here, the first page, as well as the second page, as well as the third page. Right? So moving on. 36, save and print the report. If you guys need to print it, just click print. Right, moving on to question 37, produce a new report from all the data which contains a new field. Now again, to produce a report, you need to produce a query first. So I'm going to close everything here, save it. If you haven't already saved, then I'm going to select table because it says all the data. Right, I'm going to create a query wizard. I'm going to click OK, move everything over. I'm going to do the same thing and then go to modify the query design. Okay, now this question is a little bit different from the previous one. It says contains a new field called discount underscore value. Now this is what we call a calculated field. Now again, remember a query is supposed to do calculation as well as to do filtering. So this is the calculative part. Okay, so it says in this field you will multiply the price by the discount applied divided by 100. So what's going to happen is I'm going to add a new field at the end of the query. Okay, so I'm going to resize this so you guys can see it more clearly. Change it to discount underscore value colon price multiplied by discount applied. So price multiplied by discount applied divided by 100. Okay, let's resize this so that you can see the data. Now, some of you may notice a few things. Okay, you will notice that, hey, why is discount value written here without the square brackets? Now this is because discount value is a new field, it's a calculated field, it does not exist within the table. Okay, followed by semicolon. This semicolon actually means equals. Okay, now price has a square bracket because price is already an existing field here. Discount applied is also in square brackets because it already exists here. Okay, so please take note that, oh, this is my bad. Please take note that discount applied and price has to be exactly like what they look like here. Okay, if you guys have noticed, I actually changed the capital A to a lowercase a because the discount applied here has a lowercase a. Alright, so I'm going to save this, I'm going to run it. So when I switch over to the right hand side here, you will notice that a new field is created here. Alright, now you will notice that the discount value should be in euro, in currency, euro as well. So I'm going to go back to design view, I'm going to select this, going to go to property sheet here, format, I'm going to change it to euro. Okay, so I'm going to save it, run it. Nicely done. Okay, go back to design view, moving on to the next question. Right, shows only the records where sold is yes. So sold is yes. Sales were made after the end of the year 2011. Okay, So date sold, I'm going to say after the end of the year 2011, which means that after the last day of 2011. So I'm going to say greater than 31st of December 2011. And the salesperson is Algier. Well, let's run. All right, and this is the data that's actually retrieved. Okay, so I'm going to save it. Let's see whether there's any other filtering to be done. All right, so filtering is done. What we need to do now is to create a report. Okay, so I'm going to select the data from the query that I just created. I'm going to save it a few times. I'm going to go to create report wizard. Okay, so which fields need to be displayed? Salesperson model price. So salesperson model price, discount applied, date sold, discount applied, date sold, discount value, and sold. No grouping, sorted into ascending order of date sold. Portrait, so I don't need to change it. Alright, so let's preview the report. Right, again, the same thing, you need to do some adjustments here. Alright, so I'm going to go to design view, I'm going to switch, I'm going to resize this a little bit. I don't think the model needs to be that big, so shrink it. So move these over, I'm going to resize this a little bit. Alright, let's check out the data. Right, there's still some issues with discount applied, so guys, go ahead and do what needs to be done. So I'm going back here, I'm going to go to design view, and then I'm going to look at what needs to be done here. So calculate the total value of discounts given by IJ and place this value below the discount value column. So basically what it wants you to do is it wants you to count the total discount value here. Okay, so you just need to total up everything here. So we're going to use the same function that we used previously. Previously, we actually right-click, total, and then we counted the number of records, right? But this time, we need to we need to add together discount value. So same thing, we're going to right-click on it. We're also going to go under total, but we're going to select sum this time. All right? So I'm going to left align this, make it nicer. Go back to design, and then includes a label to the left, discount given. So I'm going to put in a label. Put this in. Right, there you go. Go back to design view. Includes the report title, sales, discount for Algier, sales. Has a name, center number, and Canadian number on the left at the bottom of the report. So previously we put it in page footer. This time we're going to put it in page header. This time we're going to put it in page footer because it says the bottom of the page. So I'm going to move these down on the left. So I'm going to put it here. Save. Okay, I'm going to preview it. Okay, looking good. So 38, save and print the report. Again, if you want to print it, just click the print button here. Right, next question, 39. Okay, find only the micro eco cars that have been sold in Madrid. Using this selection, produce a new report which shows only the salesperson, model, and price, calculates the total value of these sales for each salesperson, counts the number of these cars sold by each salesperson. Now, this is a little bit more special, okay? Reason being, you need to use a group by function, and if you use a query by selecting only salesperson, model, and price, you'll notice that you can't put in the location as well as the status of sold. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to create a query that first solves this question, and then after that we're going to use another query created by this from this query to work on these questions. Okay, so I'm going to close everything here first. I'm going to select table, create query wizard. I'm going to select all the data here. I'm going to modify the query design. Right, so I need to select micro eco cars first that have already been sold from Madrid, right? That have already been sold. Right, so let's check the data. So micro eco, location Madrid, sold. Micro eco, location Madrid, sold. So from here, I'm going to create another query that only selects the salesperson, the model, and the price, right? So I'm going to select this. I'm going to create another query wizard, but I need to select this query first. Okay. So salesperson, model and price, salesperson, model, and price. So I'm going to modify it. Now I'm going to run this query just so that you guys can see what I mean about using group by and all that. Okay, so I'm going to run it, and I'm going to sort it by the salesperson. Okay, so basically what the question wants you to do is it wants you to add together a summary, okay, to create a summary. So for example, this guy Leon, he has sold 3 models of micro eco, and each micro eco has this price, right? So what it wants you to do is it wants a summary of Leon followed by a number 3 followed by 39,000, then Machado followed by the number 4 followed by the total of the price here. So how do you do that? Go to design view. I'm going to use the total function here. Now because the question says for each salesperson, by each salesperson, you are actually grouping the data based on the salesperson. Now model, it wants to say how many models of micro eco cars you have sold. So naturally we're going to select count, right? So price, what is the total price of all models sold? We're going to use sum. So when you run your query, this is what you're going to get, right? So I'm going to save it. Now let's look at the next question. Now, save this report in a form which can be imported into another document. Now this means that you need to create a report and then export this report to Excel. Okay, so I'm going to select this new query I just created. I'm going to create first a report. And then I'm going to export this report. So what I'll do is I'm going to right click on my report here. I'm going to export. I'm going to select Excel. Now why, some of you may say that, why won't I export it to Word? Okay, now this is because in some of the questions they will actually ask you to generate a pie chart out of it, or a column chart, or a bar chart. Okay, so to make it easier and to make it safe so that you don't need to remember so many unnecessary things, I'm just going to default it to Excel. So I'm going to select Excel. I'm going to select the folder that I just the folder on my desktop. I'm going to save it. I'm going to click OK. So what's going to happen is if you go to the folder, you'll see that there's a new Excel file created here. Right, so let's look at the next question. Right, add the text, sales of the micro eco by our sales team in Spain are really taking off, as a new paragraph at the end of the document you save at step 29. So I'm just going to copy this, right, again because I'm being lazy. Okay, at the end of the document. So I'm going to open the previous one that I just created. At the end of the document, which is here. So I'm just going to copy this. No, I don't need that. Okay, anyway, so what I need to do now is I need to open this file. I need to copy this. I'm going to paste it in. All right, so I'm going to copy. And when I paste, I can actually select a few things. So I'm usually going to select use destination style so that it actually uses the style of this document. Okay, so let's look at the question again. Make sure that the report fits within the column. Okay, it looks fine, but let's resize it a little bit. So I'm going to select the entire table here. I'm going to double click on one of the column separators. Okay. So proofread the document, blah blah blah, save the document, print the document. So 45 up until 48. Right, you guys can skip it because there are no longer any sending emails or going online to look to research information and all that anymore. All right, so moving on to 49, save your evidence document. I'm gonna save it, and then you gotta print it. Okay, so file, if you need to print it, select print and then click print. Right, so let's look at the next question. Oh, we're done. Right, thanks guys.